With all the new awesome watch releases we've seen this year, it's easy for some to get slipped under the radar, so I put together a list of 5 of the most exciting of the past few weeks. First up is the Laco DIN8330. They are German watch brands with a long history dating back to 1925. We're one of only a handful of companies authorized to manufacture pilot watches for the military, and to this day has kept the core DNA alive. What's really interesting is in 2012, SIN, another German watch brand, worked with the German Institute of Standards to create the 8330 specifications. Laco's version is a really gorgeous and cool tool watch with the classic Flieger design and a true purpose-built tool watch. It's well-made, ergonomic, and offers incredible legibility. I really like how the Laco logo is more discreet with the gray-on-black text color, as well as the DIN 8330 label on the dial. The high-contrast white color is used exclusively for the markers and hands, which is a strict standard required for military-issued pilot watches in order to visually optimize the dial and eliminate glare or distractions. The DIN 8330 requires passing 16 tests, and Laco said it took numerous revisions in order to get it just right. Some of the tests are extremely rigorous, including being submerged for 48 hours in engine oil. So yeah, this watch is built incredibly well, and a lot of thought went into building a long-lasting, durable watch. The case is 43.5 millimeters wide and 13.6 millimeters thick in a gray sandblasted finished steel. The case has roughly 50 millimeters lug-to-lug distance and is 20 millimeters wide between the lugs. Over the dial is an excellent AR-coated flat sapphire crystal, and the steel case is water-resistant to 200 meters with the screw-down and guarded crown. It's powered by a Swiss-made Sellita SW200 movement and retails for $2,100. Next up is a really cool and vintage-inspired watch by Vulcain, the Nautique Skindiver GMT. This is the brand's first ever GMT watch, and unlike many Vulcan watches, this latest release isn't a reissue of a vintage watch, but an entirely new design. It's really dedicated to the mid-century design, and the styling is one of the most vintage watches you could buy today. It's a dual-time version of the brand's historically accurate Nautique Skindiver dive watch, but there are quite a few changes. The dual-time function is displayed by a red arrow-tip GMT hands, and a bidirectional black ceramic bezel filled with gilt numerals. The hands and frame date window are also gilt, adding a really cohesive look overall. The dial is matte black with a cool granular texture, and the indices avoid the use of faux tina and instead wet for white lume. The result is more like how a watch would look in the 1960s brand new, as opposed to a watch that's been artificially aged. There are other fun vintage elements like the large, unprotected crown, the generously domed sapphire crystal, and the compact case diameter of 38 millimeters. But what really sets this watch apart from other vintage-inspired watches is the bracelet. Vulcan has debuted a brand new bracelet, which is quite unique. Its long, claw-shaped single links most closely resemble the lobster bracelets found on some Omega, Zenith, and Seiko watches from the 1970s. It's a unique look for a modern watch and plays really well with the overall style. The retail price is around $2,400. The third watch we'll take a look at is the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 300 GMT. At this point, if Christopher Ward hasn't popped up on your radar, I'm not sure where you've been hiding. They are really on fire this year, having released numerous incredible value-packed watches. The case design is so well done and detailed with alternating polished and brushed chamfers that plays with light in ways that others can't. The new GMTs measure 40 millimeters across and 11.8 millimeters in thickness, with the lug-to-lug distance of 47.4 millimeters. 3 models are offered and are distinguishable more than just by their dials, but by their 120-click bidirectional bezels. 2 models feature ceramic bezel inserts with split-color 24-hour scales and a second brushed ring that's just inside with black pips at each hour. The bezel is blue light blue on the blue dial and blue-white on the white dial. On the sunburst dial, the ceramic is replaced in favor of a textured steel bezel with raised polished indices in addition to the 12-hour inner ring. The crown screws down and offers 300 meters of water resistance, and the flat sapphire crystal adds to easy legibility. All 3 models will be offered on a choice of the brand's 5-link consort bracelet, 3-link Bader bracelet, or a color-coordinated FKM Aquaflex strap. All 3 options are quick release, and the bracelets have 3 millimeters and 10 millimeters of micro adjustments through a built-in clasp mechanism. Powering the watch is a Swiss automatic Sellita SW8330. This is the latest iteration of Sellita's GMT movement, which now has 56 hours of power reserve. The watches are priced at $1,195 on an FKM Aquaflex strap, $1,380 on the 3-link beta bracelet, and $1,420 on the 5-link consort bracelet. Next up might be Hamilton's most capable dive watch with the below zero Khaki Navy titanium automatic. The watch rose to fame thanks to its co-starring role in a pair of blockbuster films, 2015's The Martian and 2020's Tenet. Its oversized and tank-like case is crafted in lightweight and strong titanium. It has a helium escape valve for professional saturation diving and features an absurd depth rating of 1,000 meters. It's powered by Hamilton's H10 movement, which features 80 hours of power reserve and an anti-magnetic Neva chrome spring. To say the least, the new Below Zero is an absolute spec monster and features a new design with welcome additions. The original was completely blacked out, with the case and bezel made in PVD black titanium, and the black dial featured black hands and black lume indices. It wasn't all that legible, but looked really cool and built like a tank. The new updated version has a case and bezel that is still crafted from titanium, but the metal is in natural gray instead of PVD coated. This allows for better showcasing of the watch's finishes, like the circular brushing on the bezel and the mirror polishing of the case's hexagonal screws. The bezel has white lumed markers for the first 15 minutes, which glow far brighter than the previous black lume. The sand textured charcoal dial features large luminous white Arabic indices that are accented with bright yellow hour markers on the minute track, while the hands are filled with high-vis yellow Superluminova grade X1, which is some of the brightest lume around. Aside from the visual differences, this is the same beast of a dive watch, with the same eye-popping specs. A rugged 46 by 15.7 millimeter titanium case, helium escape valve, 1,000 meters depth rating, and the caliber H10 automatic movement. The watch is now just a whole lot more usable and retails for $1,745. Last but definitely not least are a couple gorgeous new watches from Grand Seiko. The SBGA 507 and the SBGA 509, which will only be available in the American market. Based on the brand's popular 44GS case profile, the new Grand Seiko USA exclusive watches are both crafted from stainless steel with Zaratsu polished surfaces and thick angular lugs. Measuring 40 millimeters in diameter by 12.5 millimeters thick, the overall package should hold little surprise for those who are familiar with similar offerings from Grand Seiko. Just as you would expect, a signed winding crown sits at the 3 o'clock, while the top of the case is furnished by a finely polished fixed bezel and a double dome sapphire crystal. Internally, the watches are powered by the 9R65 spring drive movement, which has faithfully served as the foundation for a significant number of the brand's models throughout the years. The 9R65 was first introduced 2 decades ago in 2004. It still represents one of the industry's most innovative movements, and just like all the brand's spring drive calibers, the 9R65 offers a mechanical ownership experience paired with a degree of precision that is typically only found among quartz watches. So this allows the watches to have an accuracy of plus or minus 15 seconds per month and a power reserve of 72 hours. The retail price is $5,600.